Flesh-Colored Horror by Junji Ito. This story begins with a woman named Momoko Takigawa. She is walking down a dark street from work by herself. You know, some red flags are going up here. Nonetheless, she thinks that she should have taken the main street. While in this thought, a mysterious figure is walking behind her. She even heard rumors of monsters walking these streets. Suddenly, the mysterious figure runs towards her, splashes her with a bucket full of unknown liquid, and in complete shock, Momoko is like, it smells so bad, how could she? She's finally home, the unknown liquid dries, and she's trying to pull it off. It's like some kind of glue. At the end, she had no choice but to cut her hair. The next day, she goes to work. It turns out Momoko is a kindergarten teacher. All her students notices her new hair. She's telling a fellow teacher what happened. The teacher says she heard things like that are common lately. The scene transitions to these kids playing on this seesaw. A student off the panel walks up to one of the kids, saying, "Hey, Yuta, it's my turn." The kid says no way, but once he turns around, it's a student that looks disturbing. You know, no offense to the guy. And we see his name is Chikara. The disturbing kid says, "What'd you just say?" Next thing we know, Yuta's on the floor crying. Momoko runs over to him and asks what happened. He says that Chikara scratched him, but it seems that this isn't the first time this happened. Momoko says that she told him before to play nice, but now Momoko wants Chikara to apologize to Yuta, but Chikara just gives her a glare and walks away. The other teacher says that he's so violent and his looks scare her, and sometimes he pops out of nowhere. Momoko says that his mother is very young and pretty. Hopefully he'll look like her one day. Chikara is in the classroom tearing up the paintings, and the students call for Momoko to stop him as she tells him, "Why'd you tear up our work? We worked so hard on these. Tell me why." Chikara responds, "I'm not tearing, this is peeling." She got tired of his smart mouth. The student in the back says, "Yeah, that's right, you annoyed." Chikara threatens Kosuke, the one who said that, saying, "Do you want me to peel the skin off your face?" It's finally after school. The parents are picking up the students. Momoko gives a narration saying that the other kids were truly afraid of Chikara's looks, brutality, and devilish behavior. Chikara is sitting alone in the corner. Then this woman, we think is the mother, comes up to him and says, "Let's go home." Momoko runs up to them before they leave and introduces herself and says that she's about to go home too, and asks if she minds if they walk together. So they're walking together. Momoko talks about Chikara, that he isn't very outgoing. He doesn't show too much emotion and gets violent from time to time. In her opinion, he seemed a little disturbed. Maybe he's hungry for attention? His mother responds, maybe his father passing away has something to do with it. Momoko says that she can make up for it, and the mother agrees, and just says that Chikara is a lonely child. Momoko thinks to herself, how can the mother talk like this? Like he's someone else's child. Momoko asks if it's alright for her to visit their home. She agrees. They arrive at the house. Momoko's suspicions seem to be true because this woman asks Momoko to wait outside just a second, so she'll go inside to get Chikara's mom. They just live together. His mother is her older sister. Chikara's mom comes to the door and introduces herself and says, "Thanks for being a good teacher to my son." Momoko apologizes for popping up like this. Chikara says not a problem at all, saying that she's always taking a bath anyways. They're sitting in the living room. The walls seem to have wallpaper peeling off. Chikara scolds her son, saying that he rips them off right away, so there's no use of changing the wallpaper. Momoko talks about her experience. Something about her was off. She felt perplexed by her and can't remember what they talked about. His mother spoke with no expression on her face, but remembers she acted like she loved Chikara very much. That night, the scars on the wall look malicious to her. Momoko is at work the next day. The other teacher there says that she's in trouble because Chikara hurt a couple kids again, and their parents are complaining about him, and says that if he keeps it up, they'll be forced to take action. Momoko asks the students if they've seen Chikara, and a little girl says that she saw him chasing Kosuke to the bathroom, but it looks like it's too late because a scream interrupts her. Kosuke is bleeding from his face. She asks, "What happened to your face?" She thinks Chikara might have peeled his skin off. Momoko picks him up and runs to the director while Chikara is wiping the blood off his hands. Momoko says that Chikara hurt Kosuke pretty bad and he was finally expelled from class, but that didn't stop him from coming every day, and he continued to scare the other kids. Momoko has a talk with Chikara one day, saying that he can't come here anymore. He has to go home now, but he responds, "I don't want to go home." One day, he followed Momoko all the way to her apartment. She invites him in, but her dad is waiting for her, saying the medical association just had a meeting near here, so he decided to stop by. Then he asks who the kid is and wants to look at his face. Her dad asks the question, has his skin always been damaged like this? She says she's not sure. The dad says this isn't his specialty, but his skin is getting thinner and his fingerprints are gone. And asks, doesn't this bother you? He has no idea what this is, and that they should consult a specialist. Momoko is literally dragging Chikara back to his house, saying that his mom must be worried, but he continues to beg, saying, I don't want to go. Chikara's mom thanks Momoko for bringing Chikara home. It seems that she was taking a bath again. Momoko asks if Chikara is going to another school, but she responds they're looking for one right now. Also adds that her father's a doctor and he's worried about Chikara's skin, thinks that she should consult a specialist, but his mom just says back, I don't think it's that serious. Chikara will be a good looking boy soon. It transitions to a pot boiling. The mom and the aunt are cooking something. The mom says she doesn't want it to fail anymore. This time she'll be fine. They followed the instructions. Chikara is sitting in the corner and his mom calls to him, but he doesn't move. She drags him out of the corner and says, we're doing this for you, and puts a tube in his mouth and says, like before, breathe through your mouth, okay? They get the substance that was boiling and dip paintbrushes in it and start spraying it across his body. Once it dried, they start pulling it off of him. Chikara's crying and the mom says it's not good if nothing happens. Within an hour, time finally passes. The mom touches Chikara's head, then walks away saying we failed again, and she goes to the wall and says what went wrong this time? Why didn't the formula work? Her sister says it doesn't work no matter how much we try. We shouldn't do this to him anymore. You know, she's the reasonable one in this situation, and also says maybe it's the ingredients are getting too old and she doesn't want Chikara to suffer anymore, and says look at his skin, we're just pulling it off every time we uncover him. The mom turns around, what are you talking about? I'm just trying to show him his true beauty. I want to see it too. But the mom is still mad. She starts clawing at the wall, saying, I want to see, I want to see. It cuts to Momoko walking and talking with her dad, trying to get him to stay, but leaves anyway. It's weird that she didn't learn her lesson, because now she's walking back by herself to her house. Then suddenly she hears a scream and looks around the corner and sees a woman covered in the same substance that she was covered in earlier. She begins to chase after the perpetrator, then finally catches up to her when she trips. But the woman is apologizing profusely. Then Momoko turns the woman around. It was the aunt. Now they're sitting together. Momoko asks what's the sticky liquid and why was she dumping it on people. The aunt says it was a beauty medicine according to her sister. It was developed by her brother-in-law, her sister's husband, before he died. By using it, her sister secured beauty she wanted, but she wasn't satisfied until she changed Chikara as well. So to save him, the aunt changed the formula of the medicine secretly so it wouldn't work, but it still damages Chikara's skin because of the constant usage, and seeing him like that tears her heart apart. So she started taking it to strangers after that. Next, this person with high heels and a coat, unable to see the faces walking the streets, then passes by a man and says excuse me while opening up the coat and asks him a question. Tell me something, am I beautiful? He screams and runs away while the mysterious figure is laughing. The scene transitions to Momoko and the aunt outside of Chikara's house. The aunt is begging her to stay away. She's telling her it's for her own sake. Please leave before her sister finds out. Momoko ignores her advice and is set on saving Chikara. Then the mysterious figure from earlier runs towards Momoko, grabs a rock and hits her over the head, knocking her out. The mysterious figure is laughing. We can safely say that the mom was the one in the trench coat. Then it cuts to the mom saying that her husband was a modern alchemist. He dedicated his life to the study of an elixir. He worked days without sleeping. It was a process of trial and error. This is the medicine he made. At last, the formula is written in his report. Her husband believed in it, and he tried to make it for himself. He sprayed it all over his body and let it dry. He was close to undying youth. He got an unexpected result, and he died. She could only imagine how frightened he was after seeing something like that. Yes, his looks really changed. The mom said it's a shame because she saw the beauty in his transformed body. She was basically giving a backstory on their lives. But the mom is hopeful that this boiling medicine will work now, but her sister is convincing her not to do it. And the mom starts listing the ingredients that's in the medicine. I like how at the end it says a few drops of deadly poison for the finishing touch, and says in this bottle is a strong acid. It melts just about anything. Then she somehow spills it on her leg, and she goes to her sister to get it off. This acid is penetrative and says, what are you waiting for? Pull the zipper down, hurry, or her muscles will burn too. Her sister hurries to unzip the skin, and the mom slips out of her skin and it drops onto the floor like a costume. Momoko starts narrating, saying that she saw a human with no flesh. The stripes of red muscles on her skinless body wiggled like caterpillars every time she moved. Her legs and her hands were covered with meshes of white tendons that looked like they could snap off with the slightest tug, all moving in and out underneath a translucent membrane. Then tells her sister Maya, we finally got to know the aunt's name. She tells her to wash off the acid off the skin or it would damage it. Then the mom explains that this is what scared her husband to death. The medicine works as a separator of skin and muscles. She found the ultimate beauty in her husband's bare body. You can work out and develop your muscles as much as you want, but it's still no match for the beauty of the bare muscles. Most people will never get to see this true beauty. And says that her husband tried to make an elixir but failed. As a result, she found the ultimate beauty. Maya comes back saying that she washed the skin. The mom tells her to go soak it in the tank and explains that she takes it off, and explains when she takes it off she has to soak it in saline solution so it won't die. She can't live without the skin. It keeps her body moist, so if she keeps her skin off she gets dehydrated very quickly. Suddenly she says they can't make the medicine without the acid, but notices that it's odd that there's not a strong smell coming from the acid. She comes to a realization and says, Maya, you're the one managing the chemicals. What's going on here? Then yells, there was plain water in the bottle. Maya starts apologizing, but the mom starts going off on her, saying that you put the water in the bottle, didn't you? No wonder that it never worked. And she was doing this trying to protect Chikara. Probably thought you're doing the right thing, but you're wrong. And says that her son has the right to see his muscles too and won't let anyone stop him. Momoko thinks that she's going to faint. Chikara's mother was unbelievably arrogant and insane. The mom asks her sister, where did she put the real acid? Maya says that she can't tell her that. The mom gets mad and says, how can you sabotage me? It gets interrupted by Chikara saying that he knows where it's at. He saw his aunt holding this bottle. His mom's like, yes, that's it. That's what I needed. Bring it to me. Chikara opens the bottle. The mom questions what's he doing. He knocks over the tank that has her skin in it and throws acid on it, watching it sizzle and dissolve it. The mom begins to cry out, my skin, and the fumes begin to overtake the room, and Maya opens a window. The mom goes to her saying, my skin is burnt and ruined. Maya, what are you gonna do about it? It's your fault. How are you gonna take care of this? I'll turn into a mummy if you don't do something. It looks like I have to use your skin. I'll rip it off you if I have to. The mom grabs Maya's skin, rips it off, while her son is saying, leave Auntie alone. He reaches for one of the legs, tears off some muscle. She falls to the ground and cries out, my muscles. Maya is crying, saying, Momoko, look at me. I used the medicine too, 3 years ago. She's dying. Her skin is torn. Believe me, I never wanted to use the medicine. I was deceived by my own sister. She told me it was going to make me look beautiful. Her idea of beauty is horrible. Momoko then faints.